Hello, and let's jump straight into it. We're heading towards the famous Virgin Atlantic Clubhouse here at Heathrow. First time for me, so let's go and see what it's all about. A very friendly reception at the reception. As we head in, we see there in the distance a massive bar. It's early in the morning, so we're going to skip that one. And behind me there is a nice counter with lots of food options. We're just going to circle here downstairs. The reason we are here is, if you watched our previous vlog when we traveled from Amsterdam to London, we're now connecting to Virgin Atlantic, and we're going to travel to Los Angeles in the USA. Our trip is business and pleasure. My wife has to do some business in Los Angeles, and after that we're traveling to another undisclosed location within the US for a week's holiday. The lounge isn't that busy this morning, as you can see. However, I see a lot of very uncomfortable seating here in this lounge, and there's a bit of an odd smell in the lounge. There's more comfortable seating upstairs, and also I believe a pool table. There's also an outdoor area, which we really don't have time now to show you, but I'm sure we'll come back in the future. We're just going to look for a bit of breakfast because the transfer has cost us some time, and we're not sure how busy it's going to be and how fast we're going to be with the breakfast. We had cappuccinos, some orange juice, and I had the eggs Benedict, which came pretty fast and were, well, decent. I really enjoyed them actually, so thumbs up. As some of you know, my wife can't eat gluten. She would love to eat gluten, but she can't. That will end up very badly for her now and in the future. And I was very shocked really that Virgin Atlantic wasn't really offering anything on the menu, and staff were really not knowledgeable enough to recommend anything. That was quite a shocker. So the server and the kitchen were very uncertain what was gluten-free or not. They did, however, came up with a poached egg on a bit of a gluten-free bread and the Hollandaise sauce on the side, which really scared my wife because she thought, well, why is that on the side? Is it safe or is it not? The server was very friendly. They did their best for us, but it's really shocking that the kitchen didn't know what they're doing. This isn't down to the people. This is down to really bad management and basically them not caring. All the stuff in the lounge were very friendly, from the reception to the servers. Like I said, they did a great job. The lounge itself, there was an odd smell, and it's getting really dated. I think a lot of the seating is uncomfortable and is looking dated. So I wonder if they're going to renovate this in the near future. Our plane is an A350-1000 that is going to take us to Los Angeles, and it's a bit of a celebrity. It's a red velvet, which was the first A350 delivered to Virgin Atlantic, and it took its first flight in 2019. Boarding had already started, so we could go straight onto the plane. They had two jet bridges today, so one for the upper class to the left and one for economy and premium economy to the right. And I still get excited when walking down a jet bridge. First time for me in Virgin Atlantic, traveling to Los Angeles in upper class, first time for me. So there's a lot of things to be excited about. First impressions for me of the cabin as I enter. It really looks very nice. I really like the pinkish lighting that gives it a very relaxed feeling. And I'm pretty happy that there hasn't been an equipment change. The old A330 that Virgin Atlantic flies in the old upper class seats, they're in a very strange configuration and they really don't look nice to me. So I'm happy that we're flying on the A350 today. First contact with the seat was positive, it felt comfortable, and there's a nice big screen, very handy tray table, and a severe lack of storage space, especially for all the crap I'm carrying around with me these days. Also ready for you at the seat is a bag with a mattress and a blanket, there's a pillow, and there's a noise cancelling headset, and of course the goodie bag.
Double-tick signals that takeoff is imminent, so please make sure that your seatbelt is fastened, and cabin crew, please take your seats for takeoff. Thank you.
After takeoff, we were served a little bowl of potato crisps with our drink, and I really thought they were lovely. Please let me know in the comments if you know what brand Virgin Atlantic is using, because I want to find out where I can get these. Also, that isn't my tea, I was having a lovely gin and tonic. As we're crossing Ireland, let's have a quick look at the menu. I've already pre-ordered my main course online a week ago, which is very handy, and I'm skipping my starter today because I just had breakfast in the lounge and better not overeat on an 11-hour flight. So the tray table basically locks you into your seat, especially if you're a bigger guy and with no space to put anything. You basically make sure that you have visited the bathroom before you're going to have your meal. I did like the salt and pepper airplanes that they gave, and the placemat was also a very original design. Main course surprised me, as I really liked it. It was a nice curry, nicely spiced. It had a tiny bit of heat to it, which is always nice. It came with a naan bread and okra, which I normally don't like, but even that I found very tasty. For dessert, I had the peach tarte tatin, which came with caramelized peaches and some fresh cream. Not bad, but also not good, very mediocre, but nice and sweet, so it did its job. As bad as the lack of knowledge in the lounge of gluten-free food was as good as it was here in the airplane, my wife had a very nice chickpea salad, which was very tasty, so she really enjoyed that. For her main course, she also had a curry. It was different than my curry, of course being gluten-free, so there must have been gluten in my version of the curry. She also really enjoyed this one. We like spicy food, so it wasn't too hot, but it was nicely seasoned. And for her dessert, she had a very moist chocolate brownie with some strawberry coulis and a bit of ice cream. She really also enjoyed this. So yeah, thumbs up for the gluten-free catering on Virgin Atlantic. They did a great job for her. Unbelievable, I slept for 5 hours, which is an absolute record by probably 5 hours for me. Normally I can't sleep on an airplane. Last time I slept on an airplane I was feeling ill, now I wasn't, so sleeping for 5 hours, I was really happy with that. My wife, who can sleep, didn't sleep, and during the night or afternoon, morning US time, they came around with some ice cream. Our next meal wasn't really a breakfast, as we were landing at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in LAX. So my wife got a gluten-free scone, some jams, clotted cream, and a gluten-free chocolate brownie. I got a miniature charcuterie board. When I say miniature, yes, it was really miniature, with some cured meats, a bit of cheese, bread, and a chutney, and some very nice olives. So I haven't mentioned the crew up until now, because basically the interaction with the crew was just minimal. I didn't see them. I think they were hiding somewhere between meal services. Very odd. The interaction I did have with them during the meal services was fine. They were very polite and friendly, so no complaints there. Just in between meal services, they basically disappeared, and that was kind of odd. Also, a quick mention on the seat comfort. I guess it was fine. I had my longest sleep ever on an airplane for 5 hours, which is amazing for Mr. and doesn't sleep on an airplane. Kudos for the seat. It came with a mattress topper and a blanket and a pillow. I didn't use the mattress topper. I tend to get quite hot on airplanes, so the blanket was enough for me. Another thing that might have helped with my sleep is on a lot of the big planes in business class, they take out the individual air vents, but Virgin has left them in, which means that I could have those on and had a lovely cooling stream of air on top of me while I was huddling underneath the blanket. So I'm sure that also added to my sleep comfort. The cabin itself was fine. It's like most modern business classes in 1-to-1 seat configuration. And only thing I didn't like is that white plastic, but that's the styling Virgin has chosen for. I think that it tends to get a bit grubbier much faster than if they would use darker colors. But of course, this is the style they're going for.
Welcome to Los Angeles, where the local time is just approaching 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Please keep your seatbelt fastened until the captain has turned off the fastened seatbelt. Hello everyone, welcome to Los Angeles from the flight deck. Please remain seated for a minute or two more before I turn the seatbelt signs off. Cabin crew, thank you very much. Please prepare the doors for...
Los Angeles, LAX airport. We have finally arrived. It was a flight of 11 hours and 17 minutes. Did Virgin Atlantic live up to the hype for me? No. Maybe my expectations were too high, but I think that they offer a very good business class product, but it really doesn't stick out much above other business class products which you find on the transatlantic route. Despite having a little moan about the lounge at London Heathrow, it's still a tremendous lounge, the Clubhouse Lounge at London Heathrow. Quality food, very nice staff. It has a lot of extras which you don't see in other lounges. So yeah, take my criticism on board, but it's still a very good lounge. Also, a service which we didn't use was that the upper class has a separate entrance to the terminal, almost like a hotel entrance. We were connecting, so we didn't use that. That gets you quickly checked in and quickly through security. We didn't use it, but that's also another benefit of flying upper class with Virgin Atlantic. Border control can be a real nightmare at American airports, but today it really wasn't that bad. We took about 45 minutes from exiting the plane until exiting the front door, so that was very good. Well, our optimism kindly got a kick in the teeth trying to find the airport shuttle. When we finally did find where the airport shuttles were standing, our airport shuttle was actually there, but it was full, so we're going to have to wait for the next one. Well, and the wait for the shuttle was a bit longer than expected. It would be another 2 hours before we were finally in our hotel room. So that was really bad. There was just no shuttle coming after the one that we couldn't get onto. And we're staying one night here at the Hilton. My wife is flying early in the morning to San Francisco tomorrow, and she'll head back on the same day, and then in the afternoon we will travel to our hotel in Santa Monica. I wasn't going to vlog this hotel, but this is a short impression, a quick shot of a very messy room, which is the next day, but it did have a lovely view of the runway, where I had my $20 breakfast and did some plane spotting from there. Thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe. Next vlog is going to be part 3 of this series, where I'm going to take you to my favorite hotel in Santa Monica, my favorite museum in Los Angeles, and we're also going to take another flight to another destination within the US. So thank you for watching again. Bye bye.